chain smoker, but this is just ridiculous. You get it? You get it? It's a pun! Hello YouTube, I'm Darkest101, and today, after the clusterfuck that was my month upload schedule, we are getting back to a series I have not touched in a long time. Today, we are returning to the inFAMOUS series. It has been a long time since I took a look at the inFAMOUS series. Almost, Jesus Christ, it's been 3 years since I touched inFAMOUS 2. Fucking hell, we've had an entire new console since then. Oh my god. Anyway, if we can all remember how much I love that game, it's gonna be pretty obvious that any sequel to inFAMOUS 2 would have to be pretty fucking badass, and that is where inFAMOUS Second Son steps in. inFAMOUS Second Son was, much like the original inFAMOUS, a launch title for the latest Sony PlayStation. In the case of Second Son, it was the PS4 launch title, and it was one a lot of people were looking forward to, myself included. How was Sucker Punch going to top the emotional and badass ending of the previous installment? What powers would we have? Who was going to fill in the gap left by Cole? And of course, the most important question you can ask in these games, what would it mean to be famous or infamous in this new installment? Let's answer the most important question first, and that question is that of powers. We all know that Cole had super badass lightning powers, and holy fuck were they so fucking badass. Oh my god, they were so goddamn fun back in the days of inFAMOUS 1 and 2. In Second Son, however, you get 4 different abilities: smoke, neon, video, and concrete. Now, while these don't sound impressive, just wait until you get your hands on them because, oh my god, all of them are amazing. And while you may think that they're simply cosmetic swaps offering no difference to the gameplay, you'd be wrong because they're all familiar enough to easily master, but unique enough to offer a brand new approach to all the different situations you're inevitably going to face throughout the game. Something that really does piss me off though about the control scheme is that there's no dedicated button to switching powers on the fly. I mean, that's really kind of a missed opportunity. Like, it's one of the biggest missed opportunities in the game. You want to change up what powers you're using in the middle of a firefight against DUP, rack up some sick combos? Well, tough shit. You've got to find a source of energy for the power you wanted. This is, of course, without considering the fact that concrete is already an annoying as fuck power. Why is that? Well, because you only get concrete at the very end of the game. So, any potential it might have had is seriously underused. In fact, you only get to use it for the final boss fight, and for 100% in the game if you feel like it. But, considering that you'd only use it for the final boss and 100% in the game, any upgrades you get for concrete, which is my second problem, are really superficial. Like, you'd only get them if you put the effort into, like, I know you do that for your upgrades, but seeing as though there's no real point to doing it, because you've beaten everything else in the game, so why should you upgrade your concrete powers at the very end when there's literally nothing else you can use it on? Like, you can use it on a random DUP patrol, but that's about it. Plus, any upgrades you do get for concrete have no karmic weighting. It's like the karmic neutral power in the game, and it really sucks. It's like built up this big powerhouse power, and there's like no karmic streak abilities. What the fuck, game? What the fuck? Oh, and the final problem with concrete is you can't drain it from the fucking buildings that are made of this stuff. Oh, you have to go knock out a big DUP fighter guy and then drain him of power. But you can't use it on just the regular grunts. No, that'd just be too fucking easy. It has to be one of those big burly dudes that have the minigun that you can't fucking take on until you, like, beat the shit out of him. Fuck. Fuck concrete. Not literally though, that hurts. That's a lacerating experience for what I've been told. Speaking of the karmic streak abilities, they are pretty great and everything, but they all feel a little underpowered, and despite any karmic alignments you have throughout the game, they're the exact same. Whether you're hero or infamous, they don't change. Also, where are the stunts from the previous games? And also, where's the customizable power set? Where's the karmic variants of your basic abilities? You know, like the pincer shot, and, you know, all the cool shit they brought in from inFAMOUS 2. Where the fuck is that in this game? I mean, yeah, Delson has his chain, which I guess is pretty cool for the melee combat, and it does change depending on what power you have, but it's definitely not Cole's amp, that's for sure. Look, Infamous 2 brought in a lot of cool new stuff for the franchise, and I'm just wondering why the hell Sucker Punch didn't build off the foundations that Infamous 2 laid out for them. I mean, why? I mean, it's not like Sucker Punch didn't care or anything, because look at how amazing this game is. They clearly cared so much about this game's development. You don't make something look this pretty unless your heart and soul is in it. Because in terms of making a game, it's hard enough to make something that looks decent, let alone something that looks this damn fucking beautiful. Also, I may just be nitpicking here, but where are the good old-fashioned side missions? Look, I know Second Son has its optional content and all that, but it just doesn't feel the same as the good old side missions from the other games, which I guess makes it feel more open world and realistic, but I don't know, guys, I just don't know. I do, however, have a theory as to why this is the case, though. It's just a theory, but I think it's because Infamous Second Son was a launch title for the PS4. The purpose of a launch title is to show the scope of the system it's launching on, right? Well, then it would be a bit of an understatement to say that Second Son is fucking beautiful. And not only that, but all the powers look fucking amazing whilst they're being used, with the exception of maybe Concrete because there's something visually stunning there. If Sucker Punch had to pull back a little on including some of the great things from Infamous 2 to show off the PS4 as a whole system, then that would definitely explain a few things. Regardless of how the game looks and plays, however, I just have to give Sucker Punch some small props for knowing to tone down the story from Infamous 2. Because let's be honest, it would have been way too easy to keep things in the same intensity as it was in Infamous 2, you know? Have it been a save the world story when in reality we didn't need one? Second Son is a lot more of a personal story with relatable goals in mind. It just so happens to indulge in a little superhero fantasy along the way. In fact, it could be said that Delson's quest in Infamous Second Son is the most personal story of the entire Infamous franchise. I mean, it's definitely way more of a personal story than Cole's was in the first Infamous game. Speaking of the story, this one begins in the small Okomish community of Salmon Bay, where a military transport carrying 3 conduit prisoners from their secure facility to an upstate military prison crashes, releasing the 3 trapped conduits into the community. One of them, Hank, is intercepted by our local delinquent hero, Delson Rowe, or our local delinquent villain, Delson Rowe, whichever you choose. During their brief encounter, Delson awakens his dormant conduit genes and assimilates Hank's ability to control smoke. Hank's escape, however, gets the attention of the Department of Unified Protection, DUP, the government-funded organisation responsible for rounding up conduits. Delson unfortunately catches the attention of the department head, Augustine, because quite honestly, he just has a really, really shit poker face. Like, seriously, Delson, she was walking away and you opened your goddamn mouth and caught her attention again. What the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously, none of Second Son would have happened if Delson had known to shut his fucking mouth right there. Also, it's interesting to note here the karmic choices in Second Son. I mean, I mentioned all the times where you can do good or bad karmic acts that are just wandering around Seattle, but the karmic choices in this game all revolve around the 5 conduits. It's a pretty clever touch that all the biggest decisions Delson has to make are about conduits rather than humans. It's a subtle way of reinforcing the fact that in a world of human and conduits, conduits have more power than just them being able to alter select types of matter. Also, side note, the most dangerous power in this game? This.
You can't do this, you crazy, I've got rights!
And I have the legal authority to suspend those rights whenever I feel it's necessary, like now, for instance.
Who? Who gives someone that much fucking power? Like, seriously. Also, I love these kind of stories where something huge happens that changes the whole dynamic of the world, and the story only focuses on the changes made within the US. Like, what happens in the rest of the world in that situation? What happens in England when this shit happens? Because being in university, I can tell you, controlling neon smoke and video would lead to some fucking sick flat parties. And now I'm picturing a British conduit with the ability to control alcohol. Lad. Failing to give Augustine the answers she wants, she demonstrates her concrete powers on Delson, and, when the rest of his tribe failed to provide answers, on the rest of them as well. leaving them all with concrete shards and daggers in various extremities, and holy fuck is it intense. Like, look at these x-rays, man. Also, I am severely questioning Augustine's ability to lead a DUP in this game. Like, she fucking leaves these guys like this. She puts concrete daggers into their bodies and then just leaves them to die a slow, horrible, agonizing death. What the fuck is wrong with this woman? Delson decides that isn't gonna fly and ropes his older brother Reggie to tailing Augustine to Seattle and to take her power to manipulate concrete to save the lives of their tribe, as well as recruiting the other two conduits as well. The first of which is the neon-powered Fetch. And honestly, she honestly fucking deserved First Light because A, her neon powers are fun as fuck, and B, she's probably the most developed infamous protagonist yet. And then there's Eugene. I honestly feel like there could have been so much more to this character. I mean, his boss fight is the most creative and visually unique out of all of those in Second Son, followed closely by the final fight against Augustine. But there's so much missing out of Eugene's whole character. Like, he has the most impressive set of powers in the whole game, and yet he has a really weak character arc, especially following up from Fetch's personal demons. I just feel like there was a lot of untapped potential in Eugene's character. Like, he comes across as kind of bland compared to the rest of the cast, especially considering his power. So after Delson makes friends with Fetch and Eugene, choosing to either redeem them from their crimes they've committed whilst in Seattle, or corrupt them into becoming infamous like him, Hank somehow manages to rock back onto the scene, after somehow escaping the DUP's confinement. Allying themselves with Hank, Delson and Reggie attempt to lure Augustine out of the city by attacking an offshore DUP facility. This turns out to be a filthy fucking trap, as Hank made a deal with Augustine in exchange for Delson. A, what an arsehole, and B, what an idiot, because I don't know if you've noticed this, Hank, but we've not come across your karmic choice yet in the game, and you want to be on Delson's good side when that happens. Handing him over to Augustine? Pretty surefire way to piss him the fuck off. And then Reggie rocks up with a fucking rocket launcher and blows the fucking shit out of Augustine. Dudes! Reggie's a fucking badass!
Delson, look at me. You gotta let me go.
No, I can do this.
Listen, we can't let this stuff get to you two. I'm so proud of you. No. Always have been.
No. Lindsay, don't.
I love you, bro.
No!
Right. Okay, yeah. Okay. No, that's fine. That's just part of course. It's part of the infamous series. You should expect this shit by now. Delson then promptly brings the entire offshore facility down into the water, and reaching the shore, decides that he can postpone getting some concrete power from Augustine to absolutely wreck Hank's shit. After choosing whether or not to kill Hank, Delson then goes to break into Augustine's Seattle HQ, where she reveals her true motivation for what she's been doing this entire time.
I know all about what you did, too. Using Hank to set up that crash? Making Eugene and Fetch look like monsters just so you could look like the hero?
Someone has to protect the conduits.
Protect?
In the 7 years since my DUP took over conduit oversight from the military, not a single one of our kind has been killed.
No, of course not. Could you just hunt them down and lock them up?
Yes, in Curtin K. Protected from the mobs that want to kill conduits. It's what's best for them, whether they know it or not.
Okay, Augustine, I hear you. I hear your fucked up plan to protect all conduits. I understand that. But, I have a question for you. Why, in the name of Spider-Man's anal ghost, didn't you just raise a conduit army from inside Curtin K? Anyway, Delson kicks the stuffing out of Augustine and decides to either expose her for all the shit she's been up to, or just straight up murder her, before returning home to fix the damage she did to his tribe. Depending on your actions, though, the tribe may be less excited to see you. And that is about pretty much the end of Infamous Second Son. And what do I think about it? Well, It's another great installment into the infamous franchise, full of the same fantastic gameplay that the previous games had. Familiar to the old players and easy to master for newcomers. Great music, great fucking visuals, and a really nice personal story that definitely sets it apart from the other two. Yeah, I do have some personal issues here and there with certain things left out of the game from Infamous 2, but I can't deny that Infamous Second Son is a worthy successor to the Infamous franchise. The only really negative thing I can say about Second Son is that I feel like there's more of this world to explore. Basically, I'm saying I want more fucking Infamous. And while I still prefer Infamous 2 over all the other games, I can't deny that Infamous Second Son gets a dart rating of 86.
Definitely new and improved.
Boy howdy, was that review a long time coming. Sorry it took me that long to get to it, guys, but I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you have a suggestion for a future review, please leave it in the comment section below. Send it to me on Twitter. I think I still have a Google+, I'm not sure, you can send it to me there. And as always, I've been Darkest101. You have been watching Darkest101 Reviews. Thanks for watching. Good night, YouTube. Alright then, I haven't rehearsed this at all. I haven't rehearsed it in the slightest. But I have a question for you. What happens when I come up with something crazy? This idea, apparently, because I have come up with a sort of new gameplay series on the channel. I don't do gameplay that often, I know. I'm trying to fix that. If you have been watching my Catherine series, I am trying to fix that, okay? I'm also trying to upload more regularly, but real life gets in the way sometimes, so it's not a point. New gameplay series idea. Basically, I was sat around watching PewDiePie's quote-unquote 0 deaths playthrough of Dark Souls 3, and I got to thinking, could you do it? Could you actually do a 0 deaths playthrough of Dark Souls? Could you do that with any RPG? Every time you die, you reset. New character, new world, your previous character is officially dead. Literally, death is permanent. That's the idea. So I created a straw poll, various RPGs I have, for you guys to vote on to say which one you want me to torture myself by playing until I beat it in one life. I am that insane. There's a list of all the games in the description. It's probably going to be on the screen, and there is the straw poll, so vote. I want you guys to vote on what RPG should realise that death is permanent. I'm insane. I know.